My beloved child, as you hear these words now, know that they come from the depths of my heart directly to yours. I have called you by name, and you are mine. This is not a chance encounter, but a divine appointment that I have orchestrated from before time began. Even as you listen, I am beside you, aware of every breath you take, every thought that crosses your mind, and every emotion that stirs within your heart. I have been waiting for this moment to speak to you, to embrace you with my words of love and truth. Open your heart now and receive what I have to say, for I long to pour out my heart to you without measure. I have watched you through every season of your life, the mountaintops of joy and the valleys of despair. I've seen your tears when no one else was watching, heard your silent prayers when words failed you, and felt your longing for something more than what this world offers. I have never turned away from you, not even for a moment. Every step you've taken, I have been there. Every burden you've carried, I have felt. Every victory you've celebrated, I have rejoiced with you. You are never alone, though there have been times when loneliness has wrapped around you like a cold winter night. Even in those moments, I was there, waiting for you to sense my presence. When you were formed in your mother's womb, I knit your being together with exquisite care and attention to detail. I breathed my life into you and placed within your spirit a unique reflection of my own heart. The color of your eyes, the sound of your laughter, the way your mind processes thoughts. All of these are precious gifts I designed specifically for you. There has never been, nor will there ever be, another soul exactly like yours. You are my masterpiece, created with purpose and intention. When the world has tried to convince you that you are ordinary, remember that I see you as extraordinary. I know the weight of shame you've carried, the burdens that have bent your shoulders, and the regrets that haunt your quiet moments. The mistakes you've made, the harsh words you've spoken in anger, the promises you've broken. I have seen them all. Yet my love for you remains undiminished. When you feel unworthy of love, when your past rises up to accuse you, when your own heart condemns you, remember that I am greater than your heart. My forgiveness is not based on your perfection, but on my perfect love. I do not love you because you are good. You are good because I love you. My grace is sufficient for you, and my power is made perfect in your weakness. I understand your struggle with doubt, the questions that arise in the middle of the night, the uncertainty about my existence, my goodness, or my care for you. These are not signs of failing faith, but invitations to deeper trust. When you cannot trace my hand, trust my heart. I am not offended by your questions or disturbed by your doubts. Instead, I invite you to bring them to me, to wrestle with them in my presence, rather than apart from me. Like Jacob, who wrestled through the night, you too may walk away with a limp, but you will also walk away blessed. You live in a world filled with noise and distraction, voices competing for your attention, pulling you in countless directions. Social media feeds tell you that you're not enough, not successful enough, not attractive enough, not accomplished enough. But I say to you, you are enough because I am enough in you. I do not measure your worth by your followers, your finances, or your fame. I measure it by the blood I willingly shed for you. When I look at you, I see my beloved child in whom I am well pleased. The path I have set before you is not always easy. There are mountains to climb, rivers to cross, and deserts to traverse. But just as I provided manna in the wilderness for my people, water from a rock, and a pillar of fire to guide them through the darkness, so I will provide for all your needs according to my riches in glory. When the path seems unclear and the future uncertain, listen for my voice saying, "This is the way, walk in it. I will never lead you where my grace cannot sustain you." Like an eagle that stirs up its nest to teach its young to fly, there are times when I have disrupted your comfort to strengthen your wings. When you have fallen, I have caught you on my wings of faithfulness. The storms that have threatened to overwhelm you have actually been opportunities for you to discover the depth of my faithfulness and the strength I have placed within you. Remember how you have weathered past storms and emerged stronger? That was not by your power alone, but by my spirit working through you. There are days when you feel as if you're climbing a mountain with no summit in sight, when your muscles ache and your spirit grows weary. In those moments, lift your eyes beyond the mountain to the one who created it. I am your strength when you have none left. I am your courage when fear threatens to paralyze you. I am your hope when circumstances whisper despair. The mountain before you is not meant to defeat you, but to reveal to you the power of faith that moves mountains. Every challenge you face is an opportunity for my power to be displayed in your weakness. The thorn in your flesh, the persistent struggle, the recurring temptation, these are not signs of my neglect, but opportunities for my grace to be sufficient. When you are weak, then you are strong, because my power rests upon you. Do not despise the difficulties. They are shaping you into the image of my Son, who learned obedience through what he suffered. I have placed dreams in your heart, dreams that perhaps you've been afraid to pursue or have set aside because of disappointment or fear. Those dreams that align with my will for you are not random wishes, but divine invitations. I am the God who gives dreams and the God who fulfills them, though often in ways and timing you would not expect. Joseph dreamed of leadership, but found himself in a pit and then a prison before his dream was realized. The delay was not denial, it was preparation. So it is with you. Trust the pace of my working in your life. When others have wounded you deeply, when betrayal has cut like a knife, when rejection has left you feeling worthless, I have collected every tear you've shed. I understand the pain of betrayal. My own were pierced by nails, and one of my closest followers denied knowing me. I know what it is to be abandoned in your darkest hour, but I also know the power of forgiveness to heal what seems irreparably broken. As you release those who have hurt you into my hands, you free yourself from the prison of bitterness. Forgiveness is not saying what happened was acceptable. It is saying you trust me to be the just judge. There are treasures waiting for you in the darkness, insights, growth, and intimacy with me that can only be discovered when all other lights have gone out. Do not fear the dark seasons of the soul. Just as seeds must be buried in the dark earth before they can sprout toward the sun, so there are certain kinds of growth that can only occur in the soil of suffering. I'm doing a work in you that you cannot yet see, cultivating fruits of character that will sustain you and nourish others in seasons to come. My child, you were not created to journey through life alone. Look around you at the people I have placed in your path. Mentors to guide you, friends to encourage you, those in need who give you the opportunity to share my love. Even when human relationships disappoint you, remember that they are imperfect reflections of the perfect relationship I offer you. Come to me with your loneliness, and I will fill you with a sense of belonging that no human relationship can provide. Yet do not isolate yourself from the community I have provided. We are better together, each member supplying what others lack. In a culture that celebrates independence, I invite you to embrace your dependence on me. This is not weakness but wisdom. The branch does not apologize for needing the vine. It simply abides and bears fruit. So it is with you. Remain in my love. Stay connected to me through prayer, worship, and meditation on my word, and you will bear fruit that will last. Fruit that is not produced by your striving, but by my life flowing through you. I have equipped you with gifts and talents, not for your glory, but for the blessing of others and the building of my kingdom. Do not bury what I have given you out of fear or false humility. Neither should you use them for selfish gain or recognition. When you offer your gifts in service to others, you participate in my ongoing work of redemption and restoration in the world. No act of service done in love is insignificant in my economy. There are times when I seem silent, when heaven appears closed to your prayers. These seasons test and purify your faith. Like a master refiner, I allow the heat of trials to burn away impurities, not to destroy you, but to reveal the precious metal of genuine faith. My silence is never absence. It is often the prelude to a deeper revelation. While you wait for answers, I am working beneath the surface, arranging circumstances, changing hearts, including yours, preparing the way for my purposes to unfold. The enemy of your soul wants you to believe that you are defined by your worst mistakes, that your identity is found in what you do or what has been done to you. Listen to my voice instead. I say, you are my beloved, bought with a price, adopted into my family, sealed with my spirit and destined for glory. No power in heaven or on earth can separate you from my love. Not your failures, not your doubts, not your wounds, not your past. My love for you is secured by my unchanging character, not your fluctuating performance. I want you to understand the battle you're in. You do not fight against flesh and blood, but against spiritual forces of wickedness. The conflicts you experience in relationships, the recurring patterns of destructive thinking, the temptations that seem tailor-made to exploit your weaknesses. These are not merely psychological or circumstantial. They are spiritual battles requiring spiritual weapons. Put on the whole armor I have provided: truth, righteousness, peace, faith, salvation, and my word. Stand firm in prayer, not just for yourself, but for all my children. Look at the birds of the air. They neither sow nor reap nor gather into barns, yet I feed them. Consider the lilies of the field, how they grow. They neither toil nor spin, yet even Solomon in all his glory was not arrayed like one of these. If I so care for the transient creatures and plants of this world, how much more do I care for you, who are made in my image and redeemed by my blood? When anxiety about tomorrow threatens to rob you of today's joy, remember that I hold tomorrow in my hands. Live fully present in this moment, receiving it as my gift to you. The wounds of your past do not have the final word over your life. I am the God who redeems, who makes all things new, who causes all things to work together for good for those who love me and are called according to my purpose. The chapters of your story that you wish could be erased are precisely the ones I can use to display my transforming power. Your testimony of my grace at work in your broken places will bring hope to others who are where you once were. Do not hide your scars. They are proof of my healing power. My child, comparison is a thief that steals your joy and obscures the unique beauty I have placed within you. When you measure yourself against others, you either fall into pride or despair, both of which distance you from me. Your journey is your own, designed specifically for you. The pace at which another travels, the gifts they display, the blessings they receive, these are not the standard by which you should judge your own progress. Keep your eyes fixed on me, the author and perfecter of your faith. There are seasons in every life, seasons of planting and harvesting, of pruning and growth, of waiting and fulfillment. Ecclesiastes reminds us that there is a time for everything under heaven. Do not despise the season you're in, even if it feels unproductive or painful. I'm at work in every season, accomplishing purposes you may not discern until much later. Trust my timing, which is perfect, neither rushed by your impatience nor delayed by your reluctance. The world measures greatness by achievement, acquisition, and acclaim. But in my kingdom, the values are inverted. The first shall be last, and the last first. The greatest among you shall be your servant. The way up is down. Do not chase after the world's definition of success, which leaves the soul empty, even when all its goals are achieved. Instead, pursue faithfulness in the small things, excellence in the work I have given you to do, and sacrificial love for those I place in your path. This is true greatness in my eyes. I do not promise you a life without pain, but I do promise you that I will be with you in the pain. I do not guarantee freedom from trials, but I offer you my peace in the midst of them. I do not remove every obstacle, but I provide grace to overcome. When you pass through the waters, I will be with you, and through the rivers they shall not overwhelm you. When you walk through fire, you shall not be burned, and the flame shall not consume you. For I am the Lord your God, the Holy One, your Savior. Remember how I fed thousands with just 5 loaves and 2 fish. I can multiply what seems insufficient in your hands. That small deposit of faith, that seemingly inadequate talent, that limited energy or resource, when placed in my hands, it becomes more than enough. Do not despise small beginnings. Do not withhold what you have because it seems too little. Offer it to me in faith, and watch what I can do with a willing heart and an open hand. You are not meant to carry the weight of the world on your shoulders. That burden belongs to me. When you try to control outcomes, manage others' choices, or shoulder responsibilities I never intended for you, you strain under a yoke that is neither easy nor light. Learn to distinguish between what is yours to carry and what is mine. Then cast your cares upon me, for I care for you. My yoke is easy, and my burden is light. In releasing control to me, you find the freedom to live unburdened. There are times when you feel your prayers go unanswered, when you've knocked and the door remains closed, when you've sought and not found, when you've asked and received what seems like silence. These moments test the authenticity of your faith. Do you serve me for what I can give you, or do you serve me because of who I am? Job declared, "Though he slay me, yet will I hope in him." Can you trust me even when you don't understand my ways? The testing of your faith produces perseverance, and perseverance must finish its work so that you may be mature and complete, not lacking anything. I want you to know the depth, height, length, and breadth of my love for you. It extends beyond your comprehension, reaches to your lowest point, stretches to encompass your entire lifespan, and is wide enough to include every part of who you are. The parts you proudly display and the parts you desperately hide. There is nothing in you that my love cannot reach. No stain it cannot cleanse, no wound it cannot heal, no need it cannot meet. My love for you is not earned and cannot be lost. It simply is, as constant as my own existence. When you feel dry spiritually, when worship seems mechanical and prayer feels like speaking into a void, do not be alarmed. Even the most vibrant relationship has seasons of felt distance. Continue the practices of faith even when they bring little emotional satisfaction. Water the ground with disciplines of grace, prayer, scripture, worship, service, generosity, even when the soil seems unyielding. Beneath the surface, roots are still growing, drawing nourishment from deeper sources than mere emotion. The feelings will return in time, richer for having been tested. I have placed you in this specific time and place in history for a purpose. You are not a cosmic accident or a random collection of atoms. You were created with intention and positioned with precision. The family you were born into, the country where you live, the particular gifts and passions I've given you, none of these are coincidental. They are threads in the tapestry of my larger story. Find your place in that story not by asking, "What will make me happy?" but "What need can I meet? What wrong can I right? What beauty can I create that will bring me glory?" The condition of your heart matters more to me than the outward appearance of your life. Humans look at the external, success, status, appearance, but I look at the heart. I see the motives behind your actions, the private thoughts you think no one knows, the secret acts of kindness, and the hidden struggles against temptation. Cultivate a heart of integrity where who you are in private aligns with who you present yourself to be in public. There is freedom in such transparency, where nothing needs to be hidden because all is surrendered to me. My child, you were designed for intimacy with me. Not merely intellectual knowledge about me, but personal, experiential knowledge of me. I invite you to move beyond religious routines into relationship, beyond doctrine into devotion, beyond facts about me into fellowship with me. Like Moses, dare to ask to see my glory. Like David, pursue me as the deer pants for water. Like Mary, choose the better part of sitting at my feet. I'm not hiding from you. I'm waiting for you to seek me with all your heart. When you do, you will find me. I delight in your uniqueness. The particular combination of personality, preferences, strengths, and even weaknesses that make you distinctly you brings me joy. I do not mass-produce my children. I craft each one with loving attention to detail. Do not try to be someone else or covet another's calling. You will find your greatest fulfillment and be of greatest service to others when you embrace who I have made you to be. Your limitations are as much a part of my design as your abilities, for they keep you humble and dependent on me and on the body of Christ. The choices you make today shape the person you will become tomorrow. Small decisions accumulated over time form character and determine direction. Choose wisely, with eternity in view. Consider not just what is permissible, but what is beneficial. Not just what feels good in the moment, but what aligns with my eternal purposes. Seek my wisdom for decisions large and small. I promise to guide you, but you must be willing to follow, even when my guidance contradicts your preferences or the world's wisdom. In a culture of immediate gratification, I invite you to embrace the discipline of waiting. Seeds planted need time to germinate before they break through the soil. Waiting is not passive. It is active trust, expectant preparation for what is to come. Wait for my timing in relationships, in career moves, in ministry opportunities. Wait for me to open doors rather than forcing them open yourself. In the waiting, I am forming your character, testing your motives, and preparing circumstances so that when the time is right, you are ready to receive what I have for you. You will face opposition in this life, sometimes from circumstances, sometimes from other people, sometimes from spiritual forces of darkness. Do not be surprised by this, as if something strange were happening to you. My son was perfect, yet he faced constant opposition. If you follow him, you can expect the same. But take heart, he has overcome the world, and through him, so will you. When you face opposition, examine your heart. Is there truth in the criticism that you need to hear? Is there an opportunity for growth? Then stand firm in the truth. Respond with grace rather than retaliation, and trust me to vindicate you in my time. There are places in your heart that you keep hidden even from yourself. Unconscious motivations, unacknowledged wounds, unconfessed sins. I see them all, not to condemn you, but to heal you. Invite my searchlight into these shadowed areas. Search me, O God, and know my heart. Test me and know my anxious thoughts. See if there is any offensive way in me, and lead me in the way everlasting. When my light exposes what has been hidden, do not run in shame, but draw near in trust. My revelation always leads to restoration. I have given you the gift of today, these 24 hours to steward as an offering to me. Yesterday is past and cannot be changed. Tomorrow is not yet guaranteed. But today is in your hands, a precious gift to unwrap with gratitude and intentionality. How will you spend these hours? What will you give your attention to? Who will you bless with your presence? What beauty will you notice? What truth will you meditate on? This day is the canvas on which you paint your legacy, one brush stroke at a time. My child, gratitude transforms the lens through which you view your life. It shifts your focus from what you lack to what you have, from what's wrong to what's right, from what has been lost to what remains. Cultivate a grateful heart, not only in seasons of abundance, but also in times of want. Thank me, not only for the gifts, but for the giver. As you practice gratitude, you will find it becomes your natural response rather than a disciplined choice. Your capacity for joy will expand, and your resilience in trials will strengthen. The enemy's primary tactic is deception. He cannot force you to disobey, but he can tempt you with lies that sound plausible or even spiritual. He may whisper that you have gone too far for my grace to reach you, that your service is insignificant, that I am indifferent to your pain, or that sin will satisfy in ways obedience cannot. counter his lies with my truth. Speak my word aloud, as my son did in the wilderness. Stand firm in what you know of my character. Even when circumstances seem to contradict it, the truth will set you free. I am building you together with other believers into a dwelling place for my spirit. You are not meant to function in isolation, but as a living stone in a larger temple. Yes, fellow believers will disappoint you at times. They will fail to understand, fail to support, fail to live up to their own professed values. But so will you. Extend to others the same grace you hope to receive. Bear with one another in love. Forgive as you have been forgiven. The unity of my church is not based on perfect agreement or performance, but on the perfect love of my Son, who prayed that you would be one as he and I are one. Rest is not a luxury. It is a command, as important as work in the rhythm of life I designed. In a world that values constant productivity and measures worth by output, choosing to rest is a countercultural act of faith. It declares that the world will continue to turn without your continuous effort, that I am God and you are not, that being with me is as important as working for me. Practice Sabbath rest, not as a legalistic obligation, but as a life-giving gift. Unwrap it with joy and gratitude. You will find that when you honor my rhythms of rest and work, both become more fruitful. When you feel insignificant in a vast universe, remember that I know the exact number of hairs on your head. When the challenges before you seem insurmountable, remember that I have overcome the world. When your faith feels small and fragile, remember that faith the size of a mustard seed can move mountains. When your prayers seem inadequate, remember that my Spirit intercedes for you with groans too deep for words. When death casts its shadow, remember that I have conquered the grave. When all else fails, remember that my love never fails. I want you to live with eternity in view. This life, with all its joys and sorrows, is but the opening chapter of your existence. What seems unbearable now will be seen from eternity's perspective as light and momentary troubles that achieved for you an eternal glory that far outweighs them all. This doesn't diminish your present pain, but places it in a larger context. You are not just living for today, you are storing up treasures in heaven through acts of faith, hope, and love. Live in such a way that you will not be ashamed when you stand before me. My child, I am always at work around you, often in ways you cannot see or understand. Trust me in the mystery. Faith is not the absence of questions, but the presence of trust despite the questions. Job never received answers to his why questions, only a greater revelation of who I am. Sometimes that is my greatest gift to you, not explanations, but presence, not answers, but assurance that I am God and I am good, even when circumstances suggest otherwise. Hold fast to what you know of me when what you don't know troubles you. In a world full of voices competing for your attention, train your ear to recognize mine. I rarely shout, though sometimes circumstances may amplify my message when whispers go unheeded. More often I speak in a still, small voice, an inner impression that aligns with my written word, a recurring theme that surfaces in prayer, scripture, circumstances, and the counsel of wise believers. As you practice listening, you will become more attuned to the sound of my voice, and when you are uncertain, ask for confirmation. I am not offended by your desire for clarity. There are seasons when I invite you to step out of the boat, to leave the familiar shore and venture into uncharted waters. These invitations often come wrapped in risk, requiring courage to accept. Fear will try to hold you back with what-ifs and worst-case scenarios. But I say to you, fix your eyes on me, not on the wind and waves. Remember that wherever I lead, I go before you. The greatest risk is not failing. It is missing the adventure of following me wholeheartedly. Even if you falter, my hand is outstretched to catch you. My power often shows up most clearly in the context of your weakness. When you come to the end of your strength, you create space for mine to be displayed. This is why my grace is sufficient for you, for my power is made perfect in weakness. Do not despise or disguise your limitations. They are opportunities for dependence on me. The areas where you feel most inadequate may become the very places where my glory shines most brightly through you. Your weakness does not disqualify you from my service. It qualifies you for my strength. I have placed you in a specific generation, facing unique challenges and opportunities. Do not wish for the good old days or wait for better times to come before engaging fully in the present. This is your moment in history, and I have prepared you for it. Bring my eternal perspective to bear on the temporary issues of your time. Be salt and light in a world that needs preservation and illumination. Neither withdraw in fear nor conform in compromise. Transform your culture by the renewal of your mind and the authentic living out of my love. You cannot fail beyond my capacity to redeem. Even your mistakes, when surrendered to me, become raw material for my redemptive work. The Apostle Peter denied knowing my Son 3 times, yet became a pillar of the early church. David committed adultery and murder, yet was called a man after my own heart because of his repentant spirit. Your identity is not defined by your worst moments, but by my unwavering love for you. No matter how far you feel you have fallen, one step back toward me begins the journey of restoration. I have not called you to a life of comfort and ease, but to a life of meaning and purpose. Comfort makes a wonderful servant, but a terrible master. When avoiding discomfort becomes your primary goal, you miss the growth, service, and deep joy found on the other side of challenge. Embrace the discomfort of growth, the inconvenience of service, the vulnerability of authentic relationships. These are the pathways to the abundant life my Son promised, not abundant in possessions or pleasures, but in purpose, peace, and lasting satisfaction. Remember that transformation is a process, not an event. You will not be completely free from struggle in this life. There will be victories and setbacks, progress and regression. Do not be discouraged by this reality. I am patient with your growth, celebrating each step forward rather than condemning each stumble. My spirit is at work in you, both to will and to work for my good pleasure. Trust the process. What I have begun in you, I will carry on to completion. You are not who you once were, and you are not yet who you will be. The greatest commandment is to love me with all your heart, soul, mind, and strength, and your neighbor as yourself. Love is not primarily a feeling, but a choice, a commitment that expresses itself in action. Love forgives when wronged, serves when inconvenienced, speaks truth when silence would be easier, perseveres when feelings fade. This kind of love is possible only because I first loved you and continue to pour my love into your heart through my Spirit. As you receive my love, you are empowered to give it away. This is how the world will know that you belong to me, by your love. My child, your prayers matter more than you can comprehend. They are not merely psychological exercises or religious rituals. They are invitations for me to act in situations where I have chosen to work through the prayers of my people. I could accomplish my purposes without your prayers, but I have ordained prayer as a means of collaboration between us, a way for you to participate in my redemptive work. Do not grow weary in praying, even when answers seem delayed or different from what you expected. Your prayers are never wasted. They are stored in golden bowls in heaven, a fragrant offering before my throne. As you hear these words, know that I am drawing you into deeper fellowship with me. I am extending an invitation to live from a place of secure identity as my beloved child, rather than striving to earn what I have freely given. Will you accept this invitation? Will you allow me full access to those areas of your life you have kept under your own control? Will you trust me with your fears, your dreams, your wounds, your gifts? I stand at the door of your heart, knocking. If you open the door, I will come in and share a meal with you, a symbol of intimate fellowship. I am the Alpha and the Omega, the beginning and the end, the first and the last. Before the mountains were brought forth, before the earth and the world were formed, from everlasting to everlasting, I am God, yet I choose to make my dwelling with you. I, who hold the universe in the palm of my hand, desire relationship with you. Let this wonder wash over you afresh. The Creator seeks communion with the created, the infinite with the finite, the perfect with the flawed. This is the mystery and the miracle of my love. This is the heart of the gospel, Emmanuel, God with you. My beloved, I leave you with these words of assurance. Nothing can separate you from my love. Not death, nor life, not angels, nor demons, not the present, nor the future, not any powers, not height, nor depth, nor anything else in all creation. You are mine, and I am yours, now and for eternity. Walk forward in confidence, not in yourself, but in me, in my character that never changes, in my promises that never fail, in my presence that never leaves. I am with you always, even to the end of the age. And when this age ends and eternity dawns, you will see me face to face, and every tear will be wiped away. Until that day, hear my voice in the quiet moments, sense my leading in your decisions, experience my comfort in your sorrows, and trust my wisdom for your journey. For I love you with an everlasting love, and I have drawn you with unfailing kindness. You are eternally mine, and in me you are home.
Before the mountains rose from dust, before my name was ever known, your love was there, your plan was set. You knew my heart, each breath, each step. When tears fell down with no one there, your hands collected every prayer. I am carried on eagle's wings, through the storm, through the night. Your presence never leaves my side. In weakness, I find your strength. In darkness, I find your light. Nothing can separate me from your love. You see beyond my worst mistakes. You love me through my deepest shame. When voices say I'm not enough, you whisper truth that breaks those chains. The mountain seems too high to climb, but you've been there the whole time. I am carried on eagle's wings, through the storm, through the night. Your presence never leaves my side. In weakness, I find your strength. In darkness, I find your light. Nothing can separate me from your love. When I can't trace your hand, I will trust your heart. When I don't understand, I'll remember who you are. The Alpha and Omega, beginning and the end. My shelter and deliverer, my savior and my friend. You've placed your dreams within my soul, not for my glory, but your own. Each trial shapes me to your side. I am carried on eagle's wings, through the storm, through the night. Your presence never